The Beast Incarnate? Afraid? The man who conquered the Undertaker's streak? The same monster who ragdolled John Cena? The conquering machine who made grown men tremble? Just walked away from a fight. And the wrestling world will never be the same after what I'm about to expose. Listen, I know what you're thinking. There's no way Brock Lesnar is scared of anyone. That's exactly what WWE wants you to believe. That's the narrative they've been feeding you for 2 decades. But here's what the dirt sheets won't tell you, what the corporate shills are desperately trying to cover up, and what happened backstage at the Royal Rumble that nobody is talking about. Brock Lesnar, yes, the Brock Lesnar, pulled strings, made calls, and did everything in his power to avoid stepping into the ring with Oba Femi. And before you click away thinking this is clickbait, before you call me crazy in the comments, I've got receipts, I've got sources, and by the end of this video, you're going to be furious at what WWE has been hiding from you. Hit that like button if you're ready for the truth, because this goes deeper than you think. Let's rewind to 3 months before the Royal Rumble. Oba Femi was absolutely demolishing everyone on NXT. We're talking about a 6'5", 270-pound genetic freak who moves like he weighs 200 pounds. This man ended dominance runs, ended championship reigns, and made former indie darlings look like children playing dress-up. But here's where it gets interesting. Whispers started circulating in December that WWE was planning something massive for the Royal Rumble, and those whispers, they involved bringing Oba Femi to the main roster in the most spectacular way possible, by having him eliminate multiple legends, including Brock Lesnar. Now, at first, this seemed like fantasy booking, fan fiction, the kind of stuff we dream about but never actually happens. But then something bizarre occurred. Brock's team, and I'm talking about Paul Heyman, his personal attorneys, and his management, started asking very specific questions about the Rumble layout. Who's coming in at what number? Who's scripted to eliminate whom? What's the timeline? This is not standard procedure, folks. Brock's been in enough Rumbles to know how it works. So why the sudden concern? Why the detailed inquiries? Here's where sources close to the situation start spilling tea that's going to blow your mind. According to multiple reports from people backstage, and I'm talking about people who were literally in the room when this went down, there was supposed to be a face-to-face segment between Brock and Oba at a SmackDown taping 2 weeks before the Rumble. The segment was scripted, the camera positions were planned, the promos were outlined. It was supposed to be the ultimate passing of the torch moment. The old Beast meets the new Beast. The collision course would culminate at the Rumble, where Oba would eliminate Brock in shocking fashion, cementing himself as the next unstoppable force in WWE. Guess what happened? 24 hours before that SmackDown, Brock's team called WWE headquarters. The segment was scrapped. The explanation given to talent and crew? Creative differences. But we all know what creative differences means in wrestling. It means someone backstage has enough stroke to shut something down. And brother, in this case, that someone was Brock Lesnar. Now, defenders will say, Brock has creative control. He's earned it. Sure, absolutely. But here's the million-dollar question. If Brock wasn't scared, if he truly believed he was still the baddest man on the planet, why would he need to pull the plug on even standing in the same ring as Oba Femi? Think about it. This is the same guy who welcomed challenges from Bobby Lashley, from Drew McIntyre, from Roman Reigns. But suddenly, when it comes to the 24-year-old wrecking machine from NXT, Brock wants no part of it? Royal Rumble night. The anticipation was electric. Fans knew Brock was advertised. Rumors were swirling about Oba potentially making a surprise entrance. The stage was set for something legendary. Brock enters at number 26. Dominant, destructive, vintage Lesnar. He's throwing people around like they're made of cardboard. F5s left and right. The commentary team is losing their minds. And then, entrant number 28's music hits. But it's not Oba Femi. One completely different. Oba Femi never showed up. Now, WWE's official explanation, we're saving Oba's debut for the right moment. Sounds reasonable on the surface, right? Wrong, because here's what actually happened that you didn't see on camera. Oba Femi was backstage at the Royal Rumble. He was in full gear, his entrance was ready to go, production had his music queued up for entrant number 28, everything was greenlit. And then, approximately 45 minutes before the Rumble match started, there was an emergency meeting between Brock's team, Paul Heyman, and WWE officials. What came out of that meeting? Oba's Royal Rumble debut was postponed indefinitely. The official line given to Oba himself, we want to build it up more. But multiple people in that room have confirmed that Brock's team made it crystal clear, if Oba enters that Rumble, Brock walks. Not just walks out of the Rumble, walks out of his WWE contract negotiations that were happening simultaneously. WWE was trapped. Do they make history with a new star, or do they protect their multi-million-dollar investment? They chose Brock. They chose safety over progress. They chose the past over the future.
Now, let's talk about why Brock is actually scared, because this goes beyond just losing to a younger talent. Brock Lesnar's entire mystique, his entire brand, is built on one thing: dominance. He's not a technical wrestler. He's not a promo guy. He's the final boss, the unbeatable monster, the attraction. But here's the problem with that character. It's fragile. The moment someone comes along who looks more dominant, more athletic, more physically imposing, the illusion shatters. And Oba Femi, he doesn't just match Brock's physical presence. In some ways, he exceeds it. Oba is younger, faster, arguably more agile, and he's hungry in a way that Brock hasn't been in years. Brock's been at the top for so long that he's comfortable. He's collecting checks. He's working part-time. But Oba, this man is fighting like his life depends on it, because in many ways it does. And Brock knows that if they get in the ring together, if WWE books it straight, if they let these two bulls actually collide, there's a very real possibility that Oba makes Brock look his age, that Oba exposes the cracks in the armor, that the Beast Incarnate looks beatable, ordinary, human. That's what Brock is afraid of, not physical harm. Brock's tough as nails, we all know that. He's afraid of losing the one thing that makes him valuable to WWE, his aura of invincibility. Here's where this gets really frustrating for us as fans. WWE is sitting on a potential gold mine with Oba Femi.
This could be their next Batista, their next Brock Lesnar, their next once-in-a-generation monster. The kind of star that transcends wrestling, the kind of guy who could main event WrestleMania for the next decade. But instead of pulling the trigger, instead of making history, they're letting a part-timer dictate the creative direction of their programming. They're letting Brock's ego and fear hold back the evolution of their roster. Think about all the incredible moments we could be talking about right now. Oba eliminating Brock at the Rumble and standing tall, the shocked faces in the crowd, the viral clips, the mainstream attention, the beginning of a legendary rivalry. Instead, we got a watered-down Rumble, and Oba's still waiting and catering on NXT while WWE figures out how to manage Brock's feelings. This is exactly what's wrong with modern WWE. They're so terrified of upsetting their established stars that they refuse to create new ones. They're so focused on protecting legends that they're sacrificing their future. And Brock Lesnar, the man who should be helping elevate the next generation, is instead actively blocking them. Look, I respect everything Brock Lesnar has accomplished. He's a legitimate legend, a future Hall of Famer, one of the most dominant forces in WWE history. But legends are supposed to pass the torch, not extinguish it. Champions are supposed to elevate others, not protect their spot at all costs. The fact that Brock Lesnar is so threatened by Oba Femi that he won't even share a ring with him tells you everything you need to know. It tells you that deep down, Brock knows Oba is special. It tells you that the Beast is afraid the throne is being challenged by someone worthy of taking it. WWE needs to make a choice. Are they going to build tomorrow's stars, or are they going to keep recycling yesterday's names? Are they going to create the next generation of legends, or are they going to let the current legends gatekeep forever? Because right now, the biggest obstacle to Oba Femi's main roster dominance isn't his lack of talent. It isn't his lack of charisma. It isn't his lack of readiness. It's Brock Lesnar's fear. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening backstage in WWE, smash that like button. If you think WWE needs to pull the trigger on Oba Femi regardless of what Brock wants, drop a comment below and let me know. And if you want more truth bombs that the wrestling world doesn't want you to hear, subscribe to WrestleScope and hit that notification bell, because we're just getting started. The question isn't whether Oba Femi can hang with Brock Lesnar. The question is whether Brock Lesnar can handle what Oba Femi represents, the future. And apparently, the answer is no. I'll see you in the next one. Stay scoped in.